So, this video today is something that may make some people upset, and I think for others it's common sense. But it's something I've never heard be discussed before. And I really want to discuss this topic in detail because as we've gotten, new leaks and new support for stuff, and as we are coming upon, actually, the Master 4 revisions, and as someone who has played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! For many years, and who enjoys casual Yu-Gi-Oh! As a semi-retired competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, let's say, I feel that this needs to be discussed and talked about in depth. And that is, guys, not every deck that comes out, not every deck that gets an old deck that gets new support has to make it tier 1, tier 0. He said that. Yes, I said that. Why? Because it's freaking true. And it gets me so upset. So kind of not upset, not even angry. It just makes me shake my head and go, dude, does it really matter that much? Was the deck even really competitive to begin with? And the reason I'm even bringing this topic up is from what I saw with the Sacred Beast structure deck when it got announced their cards a few weeks ago. And I've just been thinking about this and how I want to talk about it and discuss this video. Because when I heard, there were people out there that said, wow, this is actually decent support that helps the deck do what it needs to do to make it a more fun and quote-unquote playable deck. And then there were other people out there that said, this stuff sucks. It doesn't make it tier 0. It doesn't make it tier 1. It makes it, it's still unplayable. And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but I heard this from personal people that I know, from people on the platform of YouTube, and I heard it from many different places. I heard both sides of this story. And as someone who has played this game pretty much since the inception of the game, since March, April, May of 2002, and who still has been playing it years later, decades almost later, 2 decades later, I don't feel that way anymore. And, as someone who loves competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And I will admit it, I want to talk about the competitive side and then the casual side. And eventually we may do a more in-depth video if this video gets enough support to talk about the 2 different camps of casual and competitive, but that's a topic for a different day. I feel like as a former competitive player, I love competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the fact that you have to strategize to beat your opponent. You have to practice to get better at things. You have to, spend time and energy to do good at events. You have to travel to events. It's fun. It is fun being a competitive player. And it sometimes comes with some notoriety as well. But as I got older and I got more mature, I found that I really didn't care about it that much, because when you look at how much money you put into the game and what you got back, I mean, spending time with friends is awesome. I will not deny that. But the prize support sucks. I don't want to see people's butt cracks every day. I don't want to sit downwind from Oscar the Grouch. You get what I'm trying to say. I would rather spend my day off doing other things. And as I got older, that changed. It took time, but my perception changed. But do I hate this game? Do I not like this game anymore? Heck no. But when a new support comes out, I don't look at it in the vein of anymore as, if it doesn't become meta, it's not good. There are a lot of decks out there, guys, that are just fun to freaking play. And that's one thing why I have competitive decks I play, and I've played even recently. Sky Strikers, Cyber Dragons, Sky Strikers, back when that was popular. Cyber Dragons, Galaxy Eyes, that's not amazing, but I also had Salamangreats recently, Zombies. There's a lot of decks I had. I even had Thunder Dragons I was playing for about half a year. Burning Abyss, this and there's a long list. Everything but Orchest, pretty much, I played this past year. and own still behind me. But when I look at new support comes out, I don't care if it's not competitive or not. I look at the deck and I say, this deck, do I like it? Would I want to play this for a long time? Do I like the way the deck functions? Yeah, I'll pick it up. Instead of looking at it through the vein of, is this tier 1 and tier 0? If not, I don't want to touch it. I can't tell you how many competitive players have a side deck. And I'm making it sound like side chick, but that's not what I'm trying to say here. A side deck. And not the side deck you use in tournaments. They have a deck that there's their baby. There are friends out there who I know love competitive decks, but they love Black Wings. There are friends out there that I know that love decks, but they have, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician deck all blinged out because they love that deck to pieces. There are friends out there who just, that have their competitive deck and have their fun deck. There are friends out there who I know freaking have their best deck of the format, and then they have Neospacians that they'll pull out any moment to go play. High rarity Neospacians. Ultimate Aeonioses. You know who you are. That's what I'm trying to say. So when people tell me if it's not making the deck tier 1, it's trash, I look at them and I just shake my head, because that's not the case. When you open your mind to how, like what Yugi does to Kaiba, open your mind. When you open your mind and just look at all the different decks out there that you can play and create, Yu-Gi-Oh! Becomes a lot more fun and enjoyable, I find. One of the reasons why, I haven't mentioned this before on the channel, but one of the reasons why I stopped playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because it gets so repetitive. So repetitive. Yes, the format changes like this. New tech choices, new this and that. But it puts me to sleep. When you play against dot deck, insert deck here, for 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a day, you go, oh, are you done with your combo yet? Oh, okay, now you're not done making... Okay, you're not making Ultima Tzolk'in. This and that. Okay, good night. Oh, you done? Oh, fine. Now you're done. Okay. 10 minutes later. It gets really repetitive and boring. And that's one of the reasons I don't like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! To some degree as much as I used to, because it just puts me to sleep, literally. Not saying I dislike it. There are times I love dipping my foot, my full foot and leg back into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've done that, a year ago even, for a good year or so. And, I love it, but I can't do it format after format after format because it gets boring. That's where on the channel you see a lot of tier 2 decks on this channel and just fun decks that I create, because I find that stimulates my brain and it's more fun to create a deck like that. A deck from scratch. The freaking Celtic Guardian deck. That was so much more fun than going through a tournament that day and freaking playing 8, 9, 10 rounds against decks and just watching them go full combo and just be like, okay, yep, I don't have an Ash, I don't have an Impermanence right now, I don't have this, good night, oh, okay, cool, you're done. It was more fun, I got more fun out of building that deck than a day of doing that. So I'm not hating on competitive players. Please know that. You're talking to a guy that played many years in Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm telling you, it's okay, when cards come out, when new support comes out, don't hate on it. Because every time a new card comes out, for an old archetype or a semi-new archetype, all I ask from Konami is this. Just help the deck become more playable. Help it at least have a fighting chance against a competitive deck. I'm not asking for broken stuff. I'm not asking for amazing stuff. I'm just asking to help make that deck more competitive. So if I want to take it to a local tournament, which locals is a lot more casual than a regionals, and a regional YCS is more, a locals is a lot more casual than a regionals, and a YCS is more competitive than a regionals. Like you have your tier list. I just want to be able to take it to locals and have some fun that night. That's all I'm asking for. Just play against tier 2 decks. Maybe a couple tier 1s I beat. Have a good night saying, hey, yeah, dude, I beat your Orcus deck with freaking Gravekeepers. Yo. Like whatever deck. Insert dot deck. That's what I want. I want enjoyment out of this game. For, the amount of time you put into it and everything. I want to be able to enjoy this game. And playing tier 2 decks lets me do that. And so when new cards come out, I don't look them in the vein of, is this competitive or not competitive? I look at it in the vein of, oh, that helps that deck out. Do what it needs to do. Oh, that gives the deck a different tool to use when playing it. Oh, this helps the deck going first, going second. Oh, this is something they needed. Oh, all these cards are really nice to have to make the deck competitive. And in some instances, it'll even make the deck competitive. Six Samurais and other decks out there, time and time again we've seen this. Look at Spirals a couple years ago. Spirals were a perfect example of a deck, just like Six Samurai before that, and Gravekeepers, where good deck, but it just needed one or two or a few cards to make it competitive. And then it became a competitive tier 1 deck. And that's awesome. I love when a deck is able to do that, because you can tell really fast when that new support comes out a person who loved that deck and a person who freaking just picked it up because it was the best deck. Because that person who had been playing with that deck for maybe a year or two prior to the new support, prior to it being tier 1, knows the ins and outs of that deck like no other. And they literally can come up with these wonky combos, and they're usually the ones that are like, yeah, I can break this deck and make it amazing, and I will top an event with it. It usually happens. I've seen it. I've experienced it. It happens. So, saying that, never judge a card just on if it's going to make the deck tier 1 and tier 0. Look at the card in the vein that, what is it going to do for that deck? Till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. Please tell me your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear it. And until next time, guys, take care, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you. Take care, everybody.